right, so I think we can get started as people continue to roll in. So welcome everyone to our very first season launch party, Virtual Covet Social, live streaming on Facebook. Super excited to have everybody tuning in. So much goes into a season launch. We pretty much start planning as soon as one season goes out, we're moving on to the next. It touches a lot of people, a lot of hands, a lot of thought goes into it. So we're really excited to give you some behind the scenes into, how all that comes together today, as well as kind of answer some of the questions that I know is always on everyone's mind, like how am I going to get a top look this season? It's been forever for me. So we're really excited to have some of our very own coveters here to give some tips on how you can potentially achieve your first or your 50th top look this season. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Amanda. I'm the marketing director for Covet Fashion, and I'm going to pass it off to my lovely co-host, Chelsea.
Hi, guys. Thanks, Amanda. Like Amanda mentioned, I'm Chelsea. I am the product marketing manager for Covet, and we are so excited to do our first ever winter launch Facebook Live. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I am going to hand it off to Rick and Heather, who are our leaders on the art front for Covet, to kind of give you guys a behind-the-scenes look at where the inspiration came from our new winter season, which I'm personally a huge fan of. We'll also get some styling tips with Jen and Sarah, which, again, I'm all for getting another top look. So any insider knowledge that I can receive, I'm looking forward to that section as well. We'll have Covet trivia, some chances to win some fun prizes, and then Q&A session. So this is really for you guys to submit your questions. Let us know throughout this entire event any questions that come up, and then we'll do a quick wrap up and say our goodbyes. So without further ado, I will hand it off to Heather and Rick.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm Heather, the art director on Covet Fashion, and I'm joined here today by Rick, our very talented lead artist. Do you want to say hi, Rick?
Hello, everyone. I'm Rick.
Thank you.
Yeah, Heather covered it.
We are so excited to share with you a behind-the-scenes look at the artwork for the winter launch, Wake Up to Winter. We also have a sneak peek for you into some of the beautiful upcoming content. So let's get started. Next slide, please. So for each season launch, there are 4 main steps to the process of creating the visuals and content for our launch. The first step is a big team brainstorm, where we all meet to collect ideas to create a new and fresh season theme to surprise and delight you, our players. After that, I'll take that research or the ideas from the brainstorm, start my research, and create the mood board. So the mood board helps encapsulate all the themes and visual motifs for the season and provides direction for the art team as they work on launch artwork. Once the mood board is complete, we will create visual targets, images that help set the tone and provide examples for the team. And after we're done with steps 1, 2, and 3, the art team will create gorgeous winter artwork that you see in the game. Now, let's take a look at the themes and visual motifs that made up Wake Up to Winter. Next slide, please. All right, so this winter, there are 6 main themes that are the foundation for our visuals and content. These themes are winter morning light. We wake up this winter to breathtaking sunrises of pastel colors and light, and marvel at skies of spectacular ice halos. Our winter season glitters with sparkling snow, sequin party dresses, and holiday celebrations. These beautiful lights and winter sunrises represent our beacons of hope and are the light at the end of this 2020 tunnel that we are currently in. We also explore winter around the world, from winter wonderlands in the Midwest, to warm beaches in Australia, to snow-covered villages in Japan, to tropical retreats in Turks and Caicos. We will experience all the different climates and celebrations across the world this winter. And as we travel across the world, we will also focus on climate change and nature. We live in a vast, amazing world, and while we were just a small part of it, we have a big part to play in taking care of our planet. We zoom out in our imagery this winter to showcase the incredible scale of our world, from colossal glaciers, expansive tundras, and snow-capped mountain ranges, down to the small winter animals that share our world. And while we care for our planet, we also need to remember to take care of ourselves, and we do this with comfort and care. As we spend more time at home, we turn toward more comfortable yet stylish clothing with the fashion industry. I know I do, with business on top and casual on the bottom. I'm sure a lot of others are doing the same. And we also find comfort from our pets who keep us company and take more time for self-care to be kind to our minds, bodies, and souls as we connect with nature. This winter, we will also celebrate multicultural holidays around the world through the lens of fashion, from Diwali, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. And finally, our last theme is unity. Winter is traditionally a time for coming together, and even if it's with a bit more distance this year, it's more important than ever. We will cherish family gatherings, fun times with close friends, and share love and care in all forms, from sustainably wrapped gifts to helping our community. It's also a time for us to unite as countries, as a human race, and as a world that will persevere and see better times rising with the winter dawn. And those are our themes for winter. Now, let's take a look, thank you, at how we use these themes and visual motifs as ingredients to create our artwork. Next slide, please. So here are two visual targets that we created, step 3, that helped create examples for how to apply these winter themes. The image on the left-hand side, you might recognize from the pop-up introducing you to the season yesterday. This is actually a composite of multiple different photos with new lighting and coloring to really help capture the season feeling that we want. The image helps sets the hopeful tone for our season with a pastel winter sunrise that breaks through the darkness and showcases a beautiful, fashionable woman in a vast, incredible glacial landscape. You may also recognize the image on the right, which were our fashion packs that came out yesterday. This is another great example that brings together our winter themes with the pastel sunrise lighting on pristine winter snow and sustainably wrapped fashion packs that are not only stylish, but good for the environment. So with the mood board themes and visual targets, the art team is now ready with these tools to combine them with their incredible imagination to create our gorgeous and cohesive winter artwork. Now let's take a behind-the-scenes look at what goes into making our loading screens using these themes and motifs. Next slide, please. So the loading screen is truly a team effort of multiple disciplines, and we are so thankful for everyone's help on the team with creating these because, oh my goodness, it's so much work. This slide shows all the steps that goes into a loading screen, but are just a fraction of the amount of work that was actually done on this one. So first, our very stylish marketing team helps create outfits based on guidelines, seasonal art direction, and our upcoming winter garments to really showcase the beautiful new fashion that you'll get to play with this season. Once the outfits are styled, the artist can then use and modify these outfit ideas to create digital paper doll arrangements to find the most harmonious and beautiful combination. You can see a few of the examples up there on the right. I think we did about 20 this year. And after we finalize the outfits and avatar stylings, we then work on the background artwork. We were inspired by winter landscapes in Norway this year with images of snow-capped trees and sparkling round snow and extra colorful winter sunrises experienced near the Arctic Circle. All right, so let's take a look at the final versions. Next slides, please. And here are the beautiful loading screens for winter. We create separate, yay, thank you. We create separate loading screens for classic and modern avatars as we for every season. And huge shout out to Rick and Chelsea and Amanda, Rocio, Jane, and Mimi and Gong for all of their help on this. Like, it really took a whole team, takes a village to make these loading screens. So thank you so much. And they turned out so beautifully. We're so excited about this. Oh, oh, thank you, everyone. You're so sweet. Okay. All right. So, all right, and then, I guess last but not least, so you can also see the winter themes that are in here. So you see a winter sunrise, pastel colors, fast winter environment, and glittering textures. So you can see how all of the visual themes and motifs came together as ingredients to bake these delicious loading screens. So now I'm going to hand it over to Rick to talk more about our beautiful winter props and Covet Collection garments. Rick?
Thank you very much, Heather. Yeah, so, I can't express enough how much everything, especially season launches, are a collaboration here over at Covet Fashion, and that goes for everything that we almost do here at Covet. And one of those is our Sprint to Winter prop pack. This starts with ideation and spitballing, that's a technical term, here at Covet between the art and the content team to decide what we want to actually service up to our players for the different season. In this prop pack, we set out to celebrate the arrival of winter, hence the name, the first frost. So, we were inspired by holidays, togetherness, overwhelming sense of positivity. A lot of the themes that Heather has established in her art direction that she previously just talked about. So in this prop set, we just felt like we really wanted to express the holidays and warmth, but still kind of keeping with that sort of chilly, cozy sort of aesthetic. And that's where we get things like the garland and the bouquet, and even those ice lanterns, which was something I actually learned about when we were putting these together. I didn't know that they existed, but these little lanterns carved out of ice with little candles inside, and just that juxtaposition of warmth and a chilly winter was, I just felt right for this set. And then, we hadn't put an animal in the game, I think, since summer. So we thought that this was the perfect time to introduce our little prince, who is our fox here. And just a lot of fun to work on. It was each one of these things is a new challenge. The artist here, Josh, who did the fox, was his first animal for the game. So that's exciting. He did a great job here kind of capturing that sort of roguish rascal type of countenance that is with this fox. And it really just kind of came together as a nice, warm, welcoming prop pack for winter. And we hope everyone enjoys it. That's the first frost. And here we have the Arctic riding cloak. This one and the next Covet Collection, which we'll see in a moment, was definitely a fun experience for myself in general, as it was my first foray into real ownership of both of these Covet Collections, but also with collaboration, working with the art team, our artist Gung, who did this one. I really wanted them to have ownership of each one of these things. So here we start with just a general idea, and taking from those themes that Heather had presented earlier, which was, we want to look at more cultures and be influenced by those. This one first started as an influence by East Asian cultures, and we were looking at different patterns and furs and how they were using those and the different cuts. And that's kind of where we ended up with this Arctic riding cloak. And we call it Arctic riding cloak because one of the themes that I'm kind of, will be spreading throughout the launch is this sort of rustic idea of not really do it yourself, but just warmth, scarves, cloaks, belts, things like that, to kind of juxtapose with some of the more magical stuff that we're doing. So here you can see these options. It really starts as really bare bones conceptual stuff. We knew that we wanted to do a fur cloak, and the artist Gung just brought up a bunch of different samples, started thinking about the cut and how it would drape over the artist's shoulders. And from there, we go through iteration, myself and the artist working back and forth, ping-ponging it over to our content team, who has a great insight into what the players like, what we want to surface to the players. And going through that collaboration, we fast forward to our final result, which you can kind of see. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm blocking my own screen. There it goes. Sorry, I have my talking points in front of me. The middle one was the next iteration. And then from there, we get over to our final render, which in some cases goes leaps and bounds from an early iteration to the final render. And here, I think we came up with something really beautiful. Gung created those patterns himself and really got a nice, unique cut to the cloak. Next slide. Yes, the Rime of the Winter Queen. This is our magical Covet Collection, which, spoiler, that's the whole set that will be coming out next week. So everyone's getting a sneak preview into what the entire set looks like. Right now, we just released the bodice, which is the top, but coming soon will be the sleeves and the long skirt. And like the riding cloak, this was a collaboration working with our content team about what we wanted to, what kind of outfits we wanted to surface to work with our events and our challenges. And then once we kind of decided what that would be, putting some direction notes, going off of the art direction, and working with two artists. This was a really fun one because it was two artists working on this one collection. Our artist Dylan working on the top and the skirt, and our artist Mimi working on the sleeves. And there's only three early iterations of the concept, but they did such a great job with just drawings after drawings after drawings to kind of find different options about how we want to work in things like the icicle motif and the snow motif and get something magical and unique that we've never actually put into the game. So, Mimi here was trying different ways to kind of have like a mantle over the shoulders with ice and like some very delicate sleeves that were using ice patterns. We even were thinking about how to do long sleeves with the skirt and the bodice, but ultimately we kept with the shorter ones because we felt like it really kind of was more harmonious with every piece. And then Dylan, one of his very early iterations in the middle there of the bodice and the skirt, which he nailed really, really early, which is exciting when you can get that from your artists, when it means they're passionate about something, they're excited about something. And like the first iterations are like, yes, that's what we're looking for. And then from there, it's just a matter of putting it together, finalizing it, polishing it, and working with the entire team, with Heather, the content team, to bring it on home to the Rime of the Winter Queen collection that you see here. So I hope everybody likes that and look for it next week.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rick. Oh my God, I love those sets so much. I plan on using that Rime of the Winter Queen in all events, from fantasy to shopping for groceries. Like, it's just going to be born in all of them. They're amazing. And
awesome.
Fantastic job directing those as well. Thank you.
Thank you. we had great art direction from you, Heather. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. Oh, just thank you. We hope you enjoyed our behind the scenes look and sneak peeks this winter launch. And we hope you have fun with these new winter garments, props, and imagery. Thank you so much, everyone.
That was amazing. I could listen to you guys talk about art all day. I think Heather should do sleep stories and meditation tapes and a radio show. Like, it was absolutely amazing. And I'm so excited to get to start styling with that set. It is so pretty. So thank you so much for walking us through that. We're going to move on to the next phase, where we're going to talk about how to potentially get a top look this season. So we're very lucky to be joined by two members of the Top Looks Forecast and Research Lab. Sorry, that was a little bit of a mouthful. So yeah, I would love for you guys to kick things off, introduce yourselves, tell us how long you've been playing Covet and how you got started.
Hi, I'm Jen, and I've been playing Covet since the very end of summer 2014. I actually was playing a different fashion game that was not nearly as good, and saw an ad for Covet and started playing it. And I've just been playing ever since. I think I've entered almost every single challenge since I started playing.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I've been playing Covet since the end of summer 2015, literally like a week or two right before fall started. I think it was like a suggested app in my app store, and then once I got sucked into the online community, it was all downhill from there. And like Jen, I don't think I've ever missed a challenge. Maybe like if I fall asleep, I don't think I've missed a challenge since then.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
What dedication. I love it. I think something that I know I'm personally really interested in is what inspired you guys, as Jen, the founder, and Sarah as a part of, a key community member with the Top Look Forecasts and Research Lab. What kind of inspired you guys to start it for Jen and just be a part of it for Sarah?
Well, it all started, like a lot of good ideas, it started with a question. And we were just talking in our fashion house about like what sort of hairstyles did well for what sort of events. Because it really did seem to, challenges. They were called events back then. I still slip. There seemed to be a pattern. And I work in research in real life, so I started researching it, started looking at the top looks, and I was doing this just for our fashion house, and one of the other ladies in the fashion house said, well, you should start a Facebook group for this and share it with more people. And that's how it was born. So we started with the research, just reporting what scored well in what made the top looks. And shortly thereafter, one of the ladies came up with the idea of forecasting. And so we were the first group to do any sort of forecasts. And this was in January 2015. I was a level 14. Yeah. I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Okay, I was going to say, actually, like Jen, I also work in research, so which was another big part of what drew me to TLR, because, and actually, I've been when I initially started at TLR, I was actually doing analysis, and the analysis part, which Jen will talk about later, was the part that was really interesting to me. Was not just, like the forecasting looks, but actually going back and looking at, what sorts of outfits, what hair, what makeup, what scored well, what were people using to get these top looks, and it's just kind of evolved from there. And now I'm doing the forecasting, and it's really interesting. It's a lot of fun. Like, I've learned a game that's not traditionally a game you wouldn't think to be very strategic, just purely based on creativity. Like, the level of strategy to it is I just find it really interesting, and it's kind of helped me develop a further love for the game.
Awesome. So I am super curious. I've been in the group for a while. I definitely get inspiration when I go into a challenge and I'm just completely stuck and don't know where to start. So I find it to be extremely helpful. But would love to just kind of understand what the process is like and how do you actually go about identifying what those top trending items are going to be?
Well, there's a huge, I guess I have to say, like we've touched on, there's so much more to it than just the forecasting, which Sarah will talk about just the forecasting. But, when we started this group, the really important thing for us was that this was a group that wanted to serve our members in the best way we possibly can. I mean, I have a mission statement and everything. And we have a huge group of volunteers. We have multiple teams. We've got the analysis team, the forecast team. We have a framing team because we frame the top looks for people. We have a membership team. And just like Covet has art direction and has a certain aesthetic every season, we have an art director. Christina is fabulous, and we want to present the information, but we also want to present the information in an eye-catching way because people are visual, and we want to catch people's eye, make them want to look at the content we're presenting.
That's awesome. I think it's incredible to learn how many people are involved, just hearing all the different roles that are filled. I know myself personally, I had known about the group, but didn't know much. And I'm also a player who doesn't get a lot of top looks. So this was fascinating to me to learn tips, styling tips with you guys. I'd love to know, how has your approach kind of changed? I know, Sarah, you mentioned you kind of have moved into a different role when you first joined this specific group, and even Jen as the founder. How has it how has this group changed as Covet has also progressed? Because I know that we've changed a lot, but I'd love to hear more about how you guys have changed your process or how you approach specifically this group.
I'll at least address the forecasting part because I know the analysis part has changed a lot too. In terms of forecasting, I will say that most of it has really changed recently. In terms of, because same kind of events and flashbacks, but the things that have really changed the entire, forecasting have been the addition of props, the unlocking of the hair accessories, and the addition of modern. So it's kind of really evolved, and there's a lot more elements now to look at when we do the forecasting.
Yeah, so we went from just doing straightforward analysis of each Covet challenge and presenting that in a collage format in albums. Our analysis team is still doing that. But Veronica and Rebecca came up with this was their idea to do a units tab. So now at TLR, if you go under units, Christina's made these beautiful collages with the compiled data of a whole, a whole season's worth of analysis of what hair and what makeup score well for what sort of challenges. We've got it divided into low, medium, and high levels. And we're also, they're going to work on most used items for the different types of styling challenges as well.
We are quickly running out of time. So if you can kind of summarize, like what advice would you give to lower level or new players on trying to achieve their first top look?
Just like Sarah said, Covet is a strategy game in addition to being a fashion game. And it's also its own kind of fantasy world. So, the running joke is always in Covet, we wear a ball gown to the grocery store. And it's not really that extreme, but you do want your outfit to really pop. So use the props, use the hair accessories, add a belt, add more jewelry, add a bag. Even if you wouldn't normally dress up that much, don't think about how you would actually dress, but think about presenting a look that looks fashionable and eye-catching.
And for me, I would say one of the biggest things that I feel like a lot of lower level players struggle with is, especially when you first start out, is, entering all the challenges and spending on events. But, for me, I would definitely say, but when you focus on building your closet value, find a good house that rallies so you can get those prizes and boost your closet value and get items. Buy the requirements. 99% of the time, they're going to come back as flashback requirements as well. So, don't worry about buying that $3,000 gown. There are enough groups out there, and you can find somebody that will be willing to add you to borrow it from. Just focus on the little things, like jewelry, required jewelry, you can throw it on, sure you can use it in future looks, but don't stress about blowing the bank. Just focus on getting challenges entered, winning prizes, and that'll really boost your closet value and will get you to a point where it's easy for you to, enter these challenges and score well with good looks.
Awesome. So I think we're going to link to the group in the posting on the Facebook Live. So if people want more tips or they want more advice, they can apply and hopefully get in and learn more from you guys, because I think it's fascinating. You guys do such a good job. It's so thoughtful. It's so pretty. It's super helpful whenever you're stuck on a challenge. So thank you so much for joining and sharing your tips. I hope everyone learned something. I know I definitely did. So we're going to move on to everyone's favorite, trivia. Woo-hoo. All right. So there are some rules posted in the event page, so make sure you double check those. Each winner will get 1,000 in-game diamonds. So as Chelsea mentioned earlier, make sure that you include your Covet username with your response so we know who you are and how to reward you in-game. It's going to be the first person who answers with the correct answer that will get the prize, and we'll announce the correct answers at the very end and get in touch with the winners afterward. All right. So your very first trivia question, all these are going to be season related, so the answers are all going to be a specific season that happened in Covet. So when did Covet first launch? So what season was it and what year was it? You have a few minutes for people to answer.
We need trivia music.
Yeah, we do. We need have some background.
I know.
I could just do the Jeopardy one.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do,
Thank
do,
you,
do,
Rick.
do.
Keep it going.
Yeah, right.
It was funny. I think we mentioned that on a past Covet social and didn't realize, like, in Europe, they were like, what's Jeopardy? They didn't actually know what we were referring to. So that was kind of funny. All right.
Should we move on to our second trivia question?
Yeah, so just a reminder, if you haven't answered yet, the first one was, when did Covet Fashion first launch? So we want the season and the year in your answer. All right, let's do number 2.
Okay, guys. Here's another one, similar formula, the season and the year with your Covet username. So second trivia question is, what season was the first Covet Collection set released? I'll say the question again. What season was the first Covet Collection set released? Submit your answers below.
Am I allowed to play? Because I have the
I
answers
think if it
right in
happened
front of
before
me.
you started at Covet, you should be able to participate.
Void where prohibited. Also, thank you, Sarah and Jen, for those tips.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about all the gowns in my closet right now. And
Same.
how I don't have any
tempting.
accessories.
They really are tempting, but I totally agree with Sarah on that. Stack up on jewelry and accessories, some bags that go with a lot of things, because you'll use those so much more. You just get a lot more bang for your buck.
A lot of times I always, like when I go on your page, I'll discover accessories that I didn't think about or that I didn't even know were in there. Like, I didn't even think that I needed this like corset or this belt or whatever it was. And then I go on there, I'm like, oh yeah, like I should look for something like that. And because otherwise, I was probably just going to put a gown on or kind of do it. So yeah, it's really helpful for like surfacing up pieces that I didn't even know were in the game.
Yeah, actually, one of the things we have in TLR now is we have collages that show all the Covet Collection items for each season. So it's especially helpful for people who have the past, that you can more easily find them. And just a good reminder too on what all we have, because we have so much now. I mean, there are so many awesome items.
Definitely. Okay, who's next? Trivia question number 3.
I think that's me. All right. So, yes, same format, season and year. Which season did we launch the Trendsetter program? Now.
Gosh, I don't even remember that.
I know it was recent, but
Yeah, I don't remember.
sorry.
It's a 25% chance of getting the season right.
True. And for anybody who might have missed it, which season did we launch the Trendsetter program?
So right now in Covet, I'm a sucker for leather jackets. Like, I don't know why, I just found them or something. It's just I keep buying them up. So I have all these leather jackets in my closet. So when I go to the grocery store, it's gowns and leather jackets.
Perfect.
There you go.
That's a good look. I like that.
I haven't been in top looks yet, though.
It's so sensible and stylish.
But don't forget your hair accessory.
If you're not wearing a floral crown, you're doing it wrong.
That's the hottest tip tonight.
Yes.
Leather jacket, ball gown, floral crown, winning combo right there.
Yeah.
No.
Spotlight behind you.
Okay, I think
let's do our last trivia questions. We have some time for Q&A.
And that's me. And this is a tough one. What season were prop packs introduced?
Ooh.
Season and year. Should I say it again?
Sure,
I
one more
could.
time.
I'll do it. What season were prop packs introduced? Season and year.
All right, so you can keep submitting your trivia answers into the chat, and we'll announce the answers at the very end. But we have a few more minutes just to do Q&A, so please submit your questions. We ask you keep them focused on anything related to season launch or trend forecasting, since we do have our amazing artists and our amazing trend forecasters here today. We'll try to get through as many as we can. We only have about 5 minutes, but please submit them in the chat, and we'll try our best to answer them. All right. So who is in charge with coming up with the theme each season? Anyone wants to take that?
I'll take it. Or do you want to go for it, Heather?
Go ahead, Rick.
Or actually, Dee Dee's here too. Dee Dee, did you want to?
Hi, I'm Dee Dee. I am the director of brands and content at Covet Fashion, and we are responsible for all the editorials, all the challenges that you see in the game. So for each season, when we decide on a theme, it's a really collaborative effort with a lot of the departments at Covet Fashion. We basically come together in a huge brainstorming to just talk about the trends this season, what are trends from our brands that's coming up season, what are the relevant things that our players are interested in the upcoming season or in the next few months. So we try to be very relevant and also very on trend. And then after during the brainstorming, then we'll come up with interesting taglines that can have a real impact and really meaningful way of guiding what the look and feel of the season will be. So yeah, that's kind of a simple intro to how we come up with that.
Always one of the most fun times because it's pretty much the whole team in a room or in a Zoom room now, just shouting out ideas, trends that we're seeing on the runway or, TV shows that are coming out or anything, just to kind of throw out ideas and, work together. And it's really one of the only times that the whole team is together like that. And it's one of the most fun things that we do, I think, as a team.
I completely agree. It's a special moment. It's just all of us together and we're all working towards something. And it's exciting to imagine what it could be like in game. So then when it's actually happening, we're oh my gosh, it's finally here. It's live and living. So it's really exciting time. Cool. I think we'll ask another question, maybe for Heather and Rick. Because I think just looking at the kind of artistic inspiration, do you guys have a favorite season that you find more inspiring than others? I know that's really tough because every season I feel it gets better and better, but is there a certain season that you're more excited or more inspired by?
Ooh, that is an excellent question. Well, winter is actually the hardest to work on, but I always enjoy working on it. It's always a lot of fun after we're done, but that one is definitely the most challenging. As far as the most inspiring, while I'm not somebody who likes heat very much, summer is usually, I think, one of my biggest inspirations. I feel we get to really explore some exciting fantasy type of themes during that time, and those have probably been some of my favorites to work on. How about you, Rick?
I've only been here for 3 seasons so far because I haven't done a spring yet, so I don't know what's in store for me there. But I did really enjoy winter. I think only because once you really start understanding what your aesthetic is or what our theme is, and you start digging into inspirational imagery and everything, it's, I don't know, there's something about the colors and the time of year. There's a lot of fantastic imagery out there. I have a folder full of winter princesses, and visuals like that. So that was just that was, for lack of a better term, cool. So I think winter right now, but spring is coming up and I haven't done spring yet. So all this might change. So let's ask this question again in a year's time.
This is one for Dee Dee, maybe. How has the pandemic changed our season approach?
I don't, in terms of operations, it hasn't really changed. We're really just continue to provide, to give as much delight and interest to our players as possible through content. But one thing that we are a lot more hyper aware of is to make sure that we are creating a good escape for our players because of everything that's happening around us. We want to make sure Covet is a good escape and a good place for them to kind of relax and enjoy some content that we may or may not be able to experience this year. So that's definitely something on the top of our mind. Not that it hasn't been part of our consideration, but we definitely put more focus on that.
I know that from our New York Fashion Week, our last Facebook Live, it's been so interesting to hear how just everyone has had to kind of pivot. And I almost think that Covet has just been able to really keep the magic, even though we're not in the office. it's been really inspiring to see everyone kind of similarly to what Amanda was speaking about, all of us kind of getting together and talking about the theme. Even though we're not physically there to do that, it's been really exciting to see us all come together during this time and really be able to put forth still incredible themes and visuals like you guys saw. So it's really cool to see how the team's been able to band together during this unique time. So I think we have one more question. I know people are loving the winter set that we gave a sneak peek of. So Rick, maybe this is a question for you. Do you have any maybe no spoilers, but are you looking forward to releasing more Covet Collection pieces in the future?
Oh, always. They're some of the most fun things to actually work on and create. From an art standpoint and speaking for the team, it gives us an opportunity to really kind of stretch our conceptual muscles, and really kind of design something new and unique and fresh, season over season, month over month. So yeah, definitely looking forward to the next ones. We have planning meetings coming up about what our, next few months look like and how we want to, and what we want to do to offer to the players and inspire each other to do more cooler Covet collections in the months ahead. So did that answer the question?
Yes. Without spoiling anything, I think I'm personally just like in awe because I'm not in any of those art meetings per se, but as a player, I get super excited to see every new release Covet Collection piece and garments just in general. But it's incredible. I just keep on looking at all of those like sketches of the different process like points that you shared, and we have some amazingly talented folks on the team. So it's really cool to see what's in store for future Covet Collection pieces.
I think this winter is going to have some really cool stuff.
Yay, I'm excited. You guys heard it from Rick. Get excited. Collection pieces are coming.
Yeah.
I saw that someone asked if there are any surprises this season, and there are definitely a lot coming up, especially in December around the holidays. We have a lot of really fun things happening, so stay tuned. Unfortunately, we're already out of time for questions, so thank you everyone who submitted, and sorry we didn't have enough time to get through more of them. But we do want to quickly go through the trivia correct answers, so we can each go through and reveal what the correct answer was for our questions. So for mine, when did Covet Fashion first launch? That was summer 2013.
Awesome. And then for the second trivia question, it was, what season was the first Covet Collection set released? And the correct answer is fall 2016.
And for the third question, which season did we launch the Trendsetter program? That was summer 2019, so just last year.
And finally, what season were prop packs introduced? Also summer 2019.
That was a good season.
Yeah.
So many fun things. Well, all right. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Thank you, everyone who participated in this event. It was amazing just to see the walkthrough of the season and to get tips for the season from our trend forecasters. So thank you so much again. Again, we'll be notifying the winners of the trivia in-game, so please make sure your username is correct in your response. And we hope to see you all again soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Everyone.
Thanks for tuning in.